Okay, so you go through the police academy, you get sworn in, and by 1995, you're officially an NYPD cop.
June 30th, 1995, I got sworn in. So that day, I'm officially a cop.
So you get sworn in, you get assigned to a bunch of different areas, but then eventually you end up being assigned to Chinatown.
Yes.
So now you're back in your own stomping grounds, but now instead of being a criminal, you are now busting criminals.
Yes, so June 30th, 1995, I was sworn in. Then I went to the police academy for training for 9 months. When I came out from the police academy, after 9 months, they assigned me to the 66 precinct. And then from there, they shipped me out to do a Prospect Park detail. They needed cops to patrol the park for like 4 months. So from 9 months and another 4 months, and then when I came back after 4 months to the 66 precinct, I was assigned to various foot posts, but not Chinatown yet. So that was another couple of months. So by the time I got the Chinatown foot post as a steady post, it was probably like almost a year and change later. So I disappeared. Nobody knew where I was, the former gang members. And then when I got assigned to Chinatown, I was like a little nervous, like, oh shit, I got assigned to Chinatown. Now I might be bumping into the same people I was dealing with years ago. That's like I said, that's where, I bumped into Carol, I bumped into like my former Dilo and all these other people. Now they see me in uniform now, working in Chinatown. And remember, by that time, it was gone, right? It was gone. It was 1996 going on 1997. The gangs as we know it in Chinatown was basically over because you had the first wave where the feds arrested them in 1983 and 84. The Ghost Shadows went to prison, and then the second crackdown with the feds is around 93, 94. That was the second crackdown, and with the Dongwon Ghost Shadows and the Flying Dragons, and then you had the Green Dragons that was arrested. So it was gone basically. The gangs were decimated, So everybody was scrambling to find their own way now. There's no more Dilo to report to. There's no more tongues to have as a backup. So I guess the timing was right. And so a lot of them found out I was a cop by seeing me doing the patrol in that area. And some of them who were very close in my inner circle found out later on when I told them. And I was so afraid that to get recognized because I did a lot of wheeling and dealing with certain things with the black community. And it was in East Flatbush. So a lot of people from the Vanderveer housing development came and did business with me. And every time I transport a prisoner to Central Booking in Brooklyn, you can imagine like how I felt. Imagine like somebody who in the holding cell recognized me because I know all those people. I know who all the players were in Flatbush. You have the Jamaicans, the Guyanese, the Haitians, the American blacks. I was getting guns from the American blacks. I was getting the weed from the Jamaicans. Back then they called it Jamaican posses. Now I don't know what they call it now, but so I knew a lot of them. That's why when I was in the doing the transport in Central Booking, I always wear my police hat. The cops they hate wearing their caps. They just don't like it. And I was like an oddball. Like people, like other cops would be like, "Why is this guy wearing his hat inside the building?" Because I didn't want to be recognized. And sometimes it works because like it's a big difference when you wear a hat, especially in uniform. I mean, I was in uniform talking to one of the store owners. I had a steady foot post in Chinatown, talking to a Chinese store owner. And I would talk to her on a regular basis every day, right? I'm talking about maybe a year or two. She knows who I am, right? But when I walk in off duty out of my uniform one day, like a year or two later, she didn't know who I was until I started speaking, and then she recognized my voice. So the uniform makes a big difference in appearance. It changes, somebody's appearance.